Hi, today I'm going to talk about observation, which is again one of the body love cards. And that is, observation is our ability to observe and question our behaviors. When we can do this with a sense of detachment, curiosity, and no judgment, like a scientist, we can then be safe enough to see our true behaviors. So for me, one of the things that I really thought was important in my own recovery was to step back a little bit from the sort of the whirlwind of my recovery and think, why do I always eat all the cookies every night before I go to bed? What is really happening to me? So like a scientist that mixes A and B together, and if it blows up, the scientist doesn't go, "You stupid, stupid thing, it blew up." It goes, "Wow, what made that happen?" And that's how I had to kind of work with this card of observation. Looking at what I was doing, looking at what was going on around me when I was doing it. So for me, as a child, it was very hard at night for me. I lived in a orphanage for a few years, and then I lived in a boarding school, and at night it was kind of scary, and it was very big for me when I was little, and I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would get very scared about that. So years later in my recovery, I saw that at night it was hard for me to go to sleep without cookies, because that made me feel like a little kid that was taken care of with cookies and milk. And once I kind of got that, I was able to put that down, and I didn't have to eat cookies to go to bed anymore. If I wanted to and I was hungry, no problem. But most of the time, I was not hungry, and I was eating them for reasons other than hunger. So going on the observation card, again, the goddess is sitting here with a little pad and pencil, and her spirit animal is watching her have observation. So only by seeing ourselves as clearly and honestly as possible can we start to understand our behaviors. And that was so important for me. Sometimes I couldn't get why I would do certain things. I couldn't understand why I would continue to smoke cigarettes when I knew they were bad for me and I hated smoking after a while. But I had to look at, maybe I don't know why this is. And I just gave it to myself that it must be here for a reason, and I'll figure out the reason later. So today I will practice observing my thoughts, feelings, and behaviors with a sense of detachment and curiosity. Why am I doing this? This is a very important thing to ask yourself. When I find myself doing a behavior I dislike, instead of judging myself, coming down on myself, hating myself about that behavior, I say, "Isn't that interesting?" I still use this today. When I make a mistake, I'll go, that is so interesting, I just did that. And then I say, what is my experience now? Am I still in that little orphanage? Am I still worrying about things that I cannot control? Am I still trying to foresee the future and then get upset about the future? So I have to kind of bring myself back to the moment. What is happening right now, and what can I do for myself? How can I support myself in the moment? That's always the question. Thanks for listening, especially to this podcast about observation. This is a card that a lot of people want to throw back in the bowl because they do not want to do this. Sometimes we're really upset with ourselves when we do something we don't like, and we don't want to observe it at all. So thanks for listening to that. You can get this podcast on Patreon, become a supporter. That would be great. You can also get it on Apple Play, and you can also get it on SoundCloud. Thank you.